Okay, good morning, everyone. How are you? Good, good. Well, I want to welcome ITLA 23. Again, we're excited to start our program again, another 9 months. It seems like for most of us, we've been here 3 months before in June, graduating ITLA 22. Anyway, my name is Christy Borchin. I am the Deputy Director over the Office of Professional Development, and it's my pleasure to be the Program Director for the ITLA series. So speaking of ITLA classes, ITLA 22, where are you? Woo! Kind of a tradition we have where the outgoing class comes and welcomes the incoming class. So several folks right in the center there. So really, really welcome. Also, if you've noticed around the room, ITLA 23, there are quotes about what ITLA meant to them from last year. They did that at kind of graduation, so make sure you check that out. It's kind of their parting gift. Are there any other ITLA alum in the room here? Can you stand up? Oh, wow, wonderful. Thank you guys so much for coming. Really appreciate the support. So I was part of IT Managers Academy 8. So does anyone have me beat in terms of before ITMA 8? Yes. And what number are you, sir? 2. Wow. Mr. Joe Panora, for those of you who know him, he was in the house. He took a conference call, but he's also a number 2. So thank you so much. Wow. Are you retired by any chance? No. Yay! Thank you. I hate to be the oldest one. All right. What makes our IT Leaders Academy so special is all the hard work of many, many people. So we're going to have several speakers today, and I'm going to introduce just a couple folks from the table over here. So to my left, we have your class sponsors. So we have class sponsors and managers. So class sponsors, we have Christian Farland from CalPERS. And we have Sherry Hanks from Lottery. And those two were class managers last year, so they were at every single class, and they work with all of you to shepherd you through the process. So you won't see them quite as much, but they do a 2-year gig. You know, our volunteers, we just love them. I think it's because of the food. I don't even know what it is. Okay, so also we have 2 incoming new class managers. So we have the beautiful Lisa Fossey. And she is from Cal OES, and she is ITLA Graduate 20. And then we have Ron Robinette from Department of Community Services and Development. And I really do want to thank all of their bosses, their CIOs, for allowing these folks to give up their time throughout the year. So Ron and Lisa, ITLA 23, you're going to see a lot of them. So thank you very much. All right, well, we have a great program for today, and I'd like to kick it off by introducing our Director of Department of Technology and our State CIO, Mr. Carlos Ramos.
Thank you. Good morning. It's nice to see all of you guys here, and welcome to all the folks out in the audience at ITLA 22. Glad to see you guys all came back, and they're all charged up. They know what you're in for. So that's why they're here. They're excited for you. I know a couple of you are kind of nervous going, what are we in for? A couple of the ITLA 22 people didn't make it. Just want you to know. So we remember them fondly, you know. We're going to name one of the conference rooms after a couple of them. But most of you, I think, will be doing all right. You'll by this time next year, I think 80% of you will be here. A couple of you may not make it. But we'll name a room after you, too. So I want to tell you a couple of things about ITLA. By the way, how many of you know somebody that has gone through ITLA? Can I see? Okay, almost all of you. Okay, very good. So did they convince you? Did they recommend that you go through this, or did somebody nominate you? What's your story?
It had been an objective of mine for several years, and I was fortunate to have a boss who's ITLA too, who was a big push for me to get it once I came here to the OTEC. So I have him and the entire
Mr.
OTEC.
Huff.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's awesome.
Staff to thank for that.
Awesome. By the way, you know, ITLA 2, that was the year they switched the name. It used to be Hieroglyphic Sciences Leadership Academy. So Steve, good job. I think they changed it to movable type or something like that. So this program goes back a long ways because it's a very successful program. And so you guys are really in for a treat. You know, I'm sure if you talk to people, they'll tell you it's a lot of hard work. And I know all of you have busy jobs, right? How many of you do not have busy jobs today? You all have busy jobs, right? So in taking on being part of this cohort, you're taking on a pretty big level of responsibility. It's a busy program. It's an important program, and we're going to challenge you. We're going to challenge you to keep doing your job well, and take on the responsibilities of learning how to be an effective leader for government, specifically in the IT arena, and there's a specific reason for that. I want to share something with you. Just in the last year, and these are only a couple of examples of this, in the last year we've had turnover at the very senior leadership levels in government in some very key places. And these are just a couple of examples. In the area of CIOs, we've had turnover in CIOs at the Department of Healthcare Services. How many of you have heard of that department? Pretty big department, right, with a big area of responsibility. The CIO for the Department of Public Health and the CIO for the Department of Conservation, and a number of others. In fact, a couple of your ITLA 22 predecessors have become CIOs during the course of the program. Also project directors on some of our biggest, most important projects. The Fiscal project director turned over. The CAMUS project, we have a new project director there, and the CROSS project, the Board of Equalizations project. And then we even had a couple of AIOs turn over. We had the AIO over at the Department of Transportation and the AIO at the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. So this need for leaders is a very real and constant need. We're in the process in the middle of the silver tsunami, and so we're experiencing it. So that's why we're investing in you guys. That's why your departments have selected you. And by the way, this was a competitive, sort of a competitive process, right? Not everybody who applied to get into ITLA 23 made it. You guys did. And that's because somebody saw some leadership potential in you. Somebody saw in you a potential CIO, a potential AIO, or a potential project leader. In my own shop, I've had a lot of turnover as well, right? This year, we welcomed the new Chief Deputy Director, one of your class executive sponsors, to our department. We welcomed a new director of our project management office. We've had turnover as a director of OTEC, right? Dawood Godes retired. So we need leaders, and we need folks to be able to come in prepared to lead and prepared to be good executives. So that's why these folks over here, by the way, how many of you do not have busy jobs? Okay, all of them have really busy jobs, right? They're going to be doing their jobs as well as dedicating their time and effort to welcoming you and preparing you to be leaders. And it's because we need you. Your departments are putting a lot of faith in you. They're actually putting some money behind you because it does cost to be part of this because they expect some great things out of you. So what I want to tell you is make the most of this opportunity. Take advantage of learning and meeting the instructors that you're going to have because you have some dynamic instructors. I've met them, I've seen them, I've been able to see the classes. The folks that are going to come and speak to you are folks with a lot of experience and a lot of know-how. So get to know them. You know, if you have challenges at work that you're dealing with, challenges that they may have expertise in, you know, take their cards, get to know them so that you can address your challenges with them. And most importantly, get to know each other. Because, you know, right now, you're just a cohort, you're a classroom, you're a group of folks that are going through this. By the end of it, you're going to be a team, a very solid, effective, productive working team. And you're going to build a network of contacts both within the class, within the leadership and project or class managers, and among the greater IT community. Build that network and then really leverage it because that'll serve you well throughout your career. So I think everybody that's gone through ITLA will tell you the same thing. The connections you make and the experiences that you gain are invaluable. So welcome. Do really well. You know, stick with it. We don't want to have to name a conference room after you. So stick with it. And next year you'll be sitting over there really, really, really glad that you went through it. So anyway, welcome and enjoy it. Is it ready?
Thank you very much, Carlos. Okay, our next speaker today is going to be Miss Andrea Wallen Roman. She's our Chief Deputy at Department of Technology. Andrea.
So good morning. Before I start, I did want to acknowledge who your executive sponsors are for this next year. Devin Holmes, Cruz, if you could both please stand. They will be your executive sponsors going through. Their role will be to come into classes periodically. They'll talk to you about real life experiences. They'll kind of take the information that you're gaining in the class and they'll make it real, right? Devin, I know, went through ITLA. You were ITLA 17. And I don't think you did, right, Chris? Yeah, neither did I, but we'll have that conversation later.
Me too.
While I did not go through ITLA, what I will tell you that I did have the benefit of doing was being a class manager. I was a class manager for, I think it was about 2 years. I was a class sponsor for about 2 years. And then I just said, screw it, I'm going to go work for Department of Technology so I can stay involved with ITLA forever. And that's how I remain here. But the benefit of really being able to be involved as a manager and a sponsor was that I learned along with all of you, right? So all of the curriculum, all of the materials you're going to be taking on this year, I had the benefit of sitting through all of those courses as your class managers will, and really learning along with you some of the more academic type stuff, right? And then being able to take that and say, oh wow, you know what, I do this, or I could do this differently. I can tell you that I've probably sat through the leadership class, actually taught the leadership class with Nabil Fabrez for a number of years, and every single time there was something in there that I was like, oh yeah, that's a really good concept. I need to start applying that differently in how I just practice leadership in my own everyday carrying forwards, right? And so there's stuff that you're going to learn. There's things you're going to see that are going to be, I think, very real and very practical to you. What I would like you to walk away from today with is a recognition that you will get out of this what you put into it. This is not about the person sitting next to you. It's not about the department that you represent. While they have put forward a lot in order to enable you to be here, a lot in terms of allowing you that time out of the office to come here and to learn, you can sit here and you can walk out with exactly what you brought in today, or you can walk out a better leader, right? You can walk out with a whole lot more. And you can talk to any of your ITLA people that have gone through it in the past, and they will tell you that, you know, those that they visibly saw invest 100% walked out with a whole lot more than what they walked in with. And so you really own that. And so I would encourage you to take full opportunity for that. The other thing I would encourage you to do is to think about what your own strengths and weaknesses are. And you're going to have a lot of opportunity to discover that through the courses that you'll be presented with. But take a real look at those strengths and weaknesses, and then take opportunity to challenge yourself on your weaknesses, right? You're going to get a class project. You're going to get some activities and opportunities to go do things. You know, take advantage of the opportunity to go and do something that's out of your comfort zone. If you're not really big on public speaking, raise your arm and public speak every opportunity you get in this class. Do it while you have a safe environment, while you can challenge yourself and you can learn the skills that are necessary to augment those strengths that you currently have, and to start to strengthen some of those weaknesses, because that's where you'll be able to really take advantage of a lot of what's going to be presented to you today. So who do we have here that are the CIOs or the management team, executive team representing your ITLA class? If you could stand up just for 1 minute. So ITLA 23, I would like you to give them a round of applause. This class, these opportunities would not exist if it were not for all of them, and it were not for their recognition of the value that you gain by participating in this class, right? And so think about that also while you're here. Think about whose seat you're sitting in. As Carlos said, you know, we select who gets to come. Not everybody that applies gets to come to the ITLA class, right? So think about whose seat you might have taken. And think about that as you're looking at, gosh, do I really want to put out that extra effort? You know, I've got all this stuff going on at work. They're asking me to come and meet after hours to go do, you know, X, Y, and Z on ITLA. You know, we all have lives, I get it. But it's 9 months. It's 9 months of your opportunity to invest in you. And I say invest in you strong, invest in you hard. Because you will find that at the end of the day, you are going to be more prepared to take on some challenges that maybe you didn't think you were ready for. As Carlos talked about, you know, the silver tsunami, and I know, you know, I think sometimes we're like beating that word down, right? I mean, we keep talking about it, and I keep getting more concerned because I'm finding more grays in my head, and I'm thinking, I don't think I'm that close yet, but they're there. You know, it is very, very real. When we look at the statistics of what's happening across state government and across the IT arena, you know, we're losing more than we're gaining on any given year right now. And that's hard. And it's hard to recruit people in. And it's hard when you get into leadership positions because, you know, we come through the ranks where we expect people to do time in grade, right? You got to earn it. Well, I haven't been there long enough. I can't make you, you know, a CIO yet. You haven't really been a DPM for long enough to become a CIO. We don't have those luxuries today. Today, it's really a matter of who's got the aptitude, who shows the interest, the determination, and the drive. And those are the people that we're going to have to start investing in, giving that opportunity, promoting them maybe sooner than we would have thought, and working to mentor and develop them. And this class helps us in looking at and identifying those individuals that are really your next up-and-comers. Because it's a very, very real dilemma for us in government. You know, I hope to have anywhere from 7 to 10 years before I retire. I say hope because, you know, I work at the mercy of the governor. But, you know, that sounds like a long time. 7 to 10 years sounds like a long time. It's not a long time when you go back and you think 10 years ago, what were you doing? And how quickly did those years pass, right? If you think about how old your kids are today, if you have kids, and you think, oh my gosh, 10 years ago, you know, my kids were in elementary school. My oldest is in college. And I go, whoa, when did that happen? But it goes by very, very fast. And so taking advantage of the opportunity of the material you're learning in this course, being able to apply that into your real job, and then being able to challenge yourself to promote beyond that is really what we look at this program being about for the benefit of state government and the benefit of the technology environment and government as a whole. So with that, I thank you for your time. I thank you for your willingness to invest in yourself. You know, I thank your families if you have them. If they were here, I would say, you know, say hi and bye. Because it is going to be a busy 9 months for you. But I think it'll be a very, very well worth 9 months. So again, thank you and enjoy your class. You will see me periodically because I do love ITLA. And so I pop in periodically and just validate what you're learning with how that's worked for me in the real world. And I hope by doing that, you know, you're able to walk away with something a little bit more hands-on, more practical to say, oh, wow, that applies to me. It's real. So again, thank you and enjoy the class.
All right, next up we have Cruz, our executive sponsor, also the chief deputy of our Department of Technology.
Great. Thank you. Can you hear me? All right. I was hoping for Billy Squire, but I guess that didn't happen, huh? You missed the memo last night? Anyway, obviously this is my second or third opportunity as executive sponsor in previous positions. I've been an AIO, I've been a CIO, so I think I understand in terms of what it takes to cultivate and lead organizations, and that's why I want to be a part of ITLA. You know, you've heard from Andrea, you've heard from Carlos in terms of the silver tsunami, the importance of relationships. You know, you become what you focus on. But one of the things I think that's really important and what you need to focus on in this class is being strategic and really laying out a vision. Because when you align that and you have the necessary business acumen, you can drive technology through an organization. You know, one of the things that I constantly see within my organizations or other organizations is the need to be a part of your governance structure of your department. If you're an AIO or CIO and you being in senior level or mid-level management positions, you know, embrace your CIO or embrace your AIOs about being a part of those discussions. You can have that on-the-job experience. So one of the things, too, we're going to focus on today really is we have basically 30 folks in the class from 26 different departments. And that's quite a variety and diversification of people and skill sets. But one of the things you want to learn here, it's about building relationships. You know, I always say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to run a successful technology organization. And it's very important that you have those relationships within your organization, outside of your organization to ensure you're successful. You know, I've always said it's a business public-private partnership. That's true. We also have to take into consideration the vendor community and how we lay out and manage those relationships, because most all of you, based on myself and others here, we manage vendors, right? Vendors are a part of our life. They're within our community. And it's very important in terms of how you manage vendors and set those applicable expectations moving forward. So again, building relationships across your organization is going to be very important here. And a lot of the classes that you're going to experience here focus on building relationships, addressing policies, being strategic, laying out a roadmap and a vision for getting there from here. So I, again, encourage you to listen to the organization, be here every day. As Carlos said, you don't want a street or a room named after you in a bad way, because that leaves a lasting impression that's probably not a positive one. But really looking at what the types of things that you do and the level of commitment that you put into this job. Again, Andrea and Carlos talked about the silver tsunami. It's here. We're looking at positions across the organizations in terms of putting skilled people in. We need your help now. So getting the type of executive leadership and direction from this class is really going to be paramount as we move forward. And really take advantage of your class sponsors. Take advantage of your executive sponsors like myself and Devin Holmes, or your class managers, Christian Farland and Sherry Hanks. It's very important because they've been in these types of positions. They have CIO or executive leadership that they can bring to your bear. Because really, it's okay to ask questions. And as Andrea said, this is a public free domain for public speaking. So, this is the place to cut your teeth, so to speak, to ensure that you're being politically correct or you're being diplomatic on how you phrase questions or address certain aspects of an organization. Because you might be all in that position someday. And you need to understand that emotional intelligence needs to be very high when you take a job. And please rely on us. We've been CIOs, we've been AIOs. Carlos was a departmental CIO. He was the head at the data center at one time before he was state CIO. Andrea was a CIO at Corrections. Christy was an AIO, CIO at Department of Vets Affairs. Take advantage of that expertise because we all got here from somewhere. And it's really important that you build those particular relationships. I always say you become what you focus on, and I think that this class can help you do that in terms of focusing on where you need to be moving forward. And I always said it's very important in life to pay it forward. As leaders, that's what we're looked on as well. And I've always said, the truth may not fall too far left or too far right, but if you can get somewhere in the middle in terms of communications and strategic partnerships and giving and receiving, I think you'll be better off long term in terms of mutually benefiting the state and the constituents here in the state of California. So I'm going to turn this over to Devin Holmes, but I'm looking forward to being a part of this class. I will be checking in on you from time to time. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. So Devin, thank you very much.
Hills hurt, couches kill. I saw this in a magazine a number of years ago, a cycling magazine. And it was a picture of a rather large individual that was sitting on a couch watching the television. And it was an ad saying, get ready for winter, buy winter clothes, right? That way you can get out there and ride on your bike. Now this is something that I've used in my own personal life over the last number of years as I go out and cycle. I hate hills, literally. I hate them. Why would you want to climb a hill? It's difficult. There's not a lot of room. It just keeps going up, and it makes you even more sweatier than you were to begin with. You have to work at it, and it's hard. But hills hurt, couches kill. Couches are nice. They're soft. You can take a nap on a couch. You can just sit there and do nothing on a couch. I like couches, but they kill. They kill your ability to move forward, to get stronger, to get up and over that hill and enjoy the ride on the backside as you go 45 miles an hour. Okay, don't tell my wife that part. As you go 45 miles an hour down the hill. And that's when it's fun. That's when it's enjoyable. As Andrea said, the more that you put into this class, the more you're going to get out of it. Now, hopefully you're not going to go 45 miles an hour down the backside of the hill, but you will get a lot out of this class. I have been able to get a lot out of this class as a manager and then as a sponsor over the last couple of years. So much so that I really attribute a lot of where I'm at now to what I've been able to get out of this class. One of my mentors was Andrea Wallen. She was the CIO over at Corrections. She made sure that she spent time with us as managers to make sure that we knew where we were going. How are we going to get there? And believe me, she knows about hills. It's not easy working for Andrea Wallen. It's fun, but it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy, because when it's easy, you're probably going to take a nap on the couch, right? I went cycling with my wife a number of years ago, and if any of you are familiar with Lincoln, there's a little place called Sun City. And I go out and I ride my bike through Sun City all the time. And on the backside of Sun City, there's this place called 12 Bridges. And we were going up 12 bridges. And 12 bridges, it's just a bump. It's not even that big. But we were going up 12 bridges, and my wife said, "This is my Everest." Really? It's only 100 feet. And we stopped halfway up, and we turned around and went back down. But I was helping my wife train for an event that we did later that year. I actually took her down the coast of California. She thought that was her Everest. Just south of Half Moon Bay, about 9 miles, there's a little undulation that goes up about 650 feet. And we were climbing up this thing. And she looked at me and she said, "Oh, come on." And I said, "It's just a little one." She got off her bike and then we walked up. She didn't give up. She kept at it. What you need to remember is that it doesn't get easier. You just get faster. That was Greg LeMond a number of years ago. Notice there's a lot of cycling stuff with me. You'll see that for the next 9 months. Doesn't get easier, you just get faster. Faster, what do I want to be faster at? Think about that one. Write that one down. It doesn't get easier, you just get faster. Public speaking will never be easy, but you will get good at it. The more you practice at it. Folks like Carlos, folks like Andrea, folks like Chris, they get up here and it looks easy. It's not easy, but they're much better at it than years ago. In November, each of you are going to have the opportunity to learn a little bit more about public speaking. Can't wait. It's a lot of fun, and you will enjoy that class. There are a lot of things that you're going to be learning about over the next 9 months. Have they gotten the format of all the classes and everything? They have it in their packet. Ooh, exciting. So go through and look at that, because there are a number of things when it comes to budgeting. How does the budget process work? Why does the governor tell us some things and he doesn't tell us other things? You're going to find that out in January. What is the BCP? Why do we even care about a BCP? You'll find that out in February or March. But go through and look at that. And remember, hills hurt, couches kill. Thank you.